Welcome to the Physician Associate Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the Physician Associate Podcast. James here. Thanks for downloading this really quick little note. I just wanted to pause for a moment and reflect on the first year of the Physician Associate Podcast. I had the idea to make this show about 12 months ago now, thinking it would be a really great way to highlight some of the amazing things that physician associates are doing across the country and trying to connect physician associates together. I thought it would be a good opportunity to share some news and for myself to find out more about the profession, as I was really interested in what was going on. I never really imagined that so many other people would be interested in my ramblings too, but I'm really pleased that I started to make this show. I've really enjoyed talking to some amazing PAs who are doing brilliant clinical work and changing the face of medicine in their local areas. And I've also been really interested in finding out about other topics, such as physician associates in education, or how people are improving the supervision of junior physician associates, or how doctors and PAs are best integrated together. Making the podcast is sometimes hard work. It usually takes an hour or so to record the content of each episode with the guest, and then another hour or two to listen back to that recording in real time and edit out all of my waffle and my mistakes to end up producing a 20-minute episode. And then doing all the audio optimization and post-production and social media posts, it probably takes about 3 hours to make that 20-minute episode. I really enjoy doing it, but it is a big time commitment on top of a clinical work as well. I really love it then. So when I get messages from people out there through social media who say, thanks for making a particular episode or talking about a particular topic. Recently, a few people have told me how they use the podcast to help them prepare for their interviews for PA schools. It's just lovely to hear when they then get accepted. Or it's been great to talk to physician associates across the globe in other countries. It's just so cool to be able to do that. And some of the lovely reviews that people have left in the iTunes store or Spotify or other podcast apps about this podcast really help provide me some motivation to keep doing this hobby in my spare time. And it also helps to boost the show so that other people can find it and find out about our physician associate profession as well. So I really appreciate all of the support and the messages that you send. Thank you. If you've got time now, cheeky request from me, if you could leave a review on iTunes or Spotify, whichever app you're using, it will really help boost the show. The show itself has been much more successful than I ever hoped. I'm just checking now, but we're close to almost 11,000 listeners this year, with people listening across 6 different continents. That's really cool. The most popular episode that we've done this year is episode 5. That's the one about an update on GMC regulation. And the first episode too actually looks really popular, which was released back in the middle of March 2020. And I think it's still a really fascinating listen for anyone who hasn't heard it yet. It's all about the history of the PA profession here in the UK with Professor Phil Begg. And last week's episode, which is an update on prescribing rights for PAs with Neil Howie, will hopefully be relevant to all PAs, supervisors of PAs, doctors, consultants, GPs, everyone that we work with really who has an interest in when PAs can start prescribing. So if you haven't heard that episode already, it's doing really well, but have a listen if you haven't already. I'm sure you'll find it really interesting. I just wanted to say I'm going to take a little break from releasing any new episodes just to allow me some downtime over Christmas so I can see friends and family and not be stuck with my headphones and my microphone editing. But hoping to come back in January 2022 with the new episodes. I've got some lined up already, some that we've recorded with some really interesting topics. But if you've got any ideas too of what you'd like to hear on the podcast or cool examples of PAs doing amazing things, please get in touch. I'd love to highlight it and spread the word about what PAs can do. Please get in touch on social media, Twitter, Facebook or Instagram. It's at PA Podcast UK. And I'd love to get you on the show, have you on the podcast and talk to you about physician associates. Wishing everyone all the best for the festive season. Please remember to look after yourselves when you're working clinically on the front line. Look out for your colleagues in the NHS so that we can all care for our patients when they need us to. And I hope you'll join me again in January for the next episode of the podcast. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to the Physician Associate Podcast.